Today I'm going to show you how to take those Hobby Lobby discards that are 90% off and turn them into stunning home decor. Let's go. Hello, I'm Noreen Eppley. This is the Crafty Organizer, and on this channel I love bringing you ways to organize, declutter, do DIYs, upcycles, and anything crafty on a budget. Budgeting is one of my favorite things because let's face it, we work hard for our money, and if I can find a way to help you create amazing looks for less or ways to create systems on pennies, I'm going to bring them to you. Today is an upcycle from items at Hobby Lobby. They typically tend to clearance out pretty quickly right after the holiday. So it always starts off at 40%. Don't know why, it's just how they mark things up. But as soon as the holiday actually hits, you're going to see it's going to go to 50%, 60, 75, 80, and then the coup de grace is 90% off. I've never seen anything marked for more than 90% off, so if you have, let me know in the comments below. And they always have a section in the back that's clearanced. I hardly ever find anything there. But the seasonal items, when they clearance those to 90%, look at those items with an open objective eye. Go through Pinterest really quick because those make the best blanks to customize decor for your space. Right after Christmas, I went through the Hobby Lobby aisle and I found this enormous picture frame. It had beautiful wood borders. It was painted. It was great. I actually thought it was super cute, but it didn't fit what I wanted. And it was a holiday winter picture, and I wanted something that I could have up year round. These types of seasonal signs where you can swap out the little inside decor so that it matches the season or the holiday are something that I have loved, and they have so many of these for sale online. What I'm going to do is turn this into a welcome sign, and it's going to have the H, no O, M-E, and I'll change out that O for seasonal things. This particular long-haired beautiful cow had a lot of thick extra snow on him. I'm sure it was just some sort of spackle. So I scraped all of that off, made sure to vacuum it. And by the way, using a little handheld vacuum in my craft space is a game changer. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. I've seen the cute little handheld desktop vacuums. Those don't do anything for me. And let's face it, if it doesn't pick up glitter in a craft room, why have it? But this was a little $14 vacuum that I got at, I think, Walmart, and it has been the biggest game changer in my craft room when it comes to keeping things neat and tidy, but for keeping the projects I'm working on from having anything getting into the paint or glue. I'm going ahead and readying it, and something I always do on the back is write where I got it from and the price I paid and the date. I don't know why, but I love that. I'm going to tape off the frame because I like the way the wood stained frame looks. I'm going to be working on just the canvas. And today I'm going to be using a technique that I think everyone has used, but I'm pretty behind on crafting this type of technique. And that is painting an acrylic and then layering it with glue and adding paint to the wet glue to get an aged crackle effect. So once I get this whole border taped off, I'm going to show you what I'm starting with. I'm using black on the bottom, and then I'll apply the school glue and white glue. You do need a hairdryer or a heat gun for this, but on the base, start with your favorite color. I tend to the black and whites, but you could definitely do a light blue, a pink, a green, a purple, a beige, a brown, whatever suits your home decor desires. So I'm spreading a very thin layer of the black acrylic paint on this. And what's great about this acrylic paint, as you know, you can get this for about 50 cents at Hobby Lobby. But if you go to Joann's or Michael's, they often have sales where you can get 3 for $1. And anytime I do, I take a picture of my paints while they're out, and I take that picture with me, and I will buy more colors that I want, or I'll make sure I know which ones are low to replenish while they're affordable. Now here's the magic with the paint dry. I know watching paint dry isn't normally fun, but yes, this is sped up, but you can actually see it drying as you're using the heat gun on this. So I was also behind the times on heat guns. I had not used one before, and now that I've used one, I will never not use it when painting or doing a craft project. Once it's pretty well dry, I did use my laser machine to cut out my welcome and the letters. And where the O is, I'm going to change that out for the different seasons. So I'll set those aside for now. I'm going to put down the layer of glue. Now you want to work pretty quickly with this if you've never done this technique before. You want as even of a coating as possible, and you want to apply the paint on top of it while it is still wet. Something I learned in playing with this, the crackles will follow the stroke of your brush, so be mindful of that. I want mine to look like it was definitely aged, so I'm going in all different directions. Once I have the glue down, I am now going on top with paint. And also you want to work quickly with this. You don't want it to dry out. My awesome husband is helping me to get the paint distributed, but you don't want to go over it multiple times. Try and touch it once. I saw one little area that I had missed a lot of paint, and I thought, oh, I can just fix it. So I got my paint out, tried to add more paint to it, and as soon as I did, I realized I had messed that up. So do not do what I did. Let it dry completely if you find that you have missed a spot. But now that I'm using my heat gun on that layer of paint, you can see where it's starting to dry the paint and pull it away so it looks like aged crackling paint. And I think this is such a cool technique. It happens pretty fast. I'd say I got this whole thing crackled within about 4 minutes. It truly is so much fun to watch as it crackles. But do you see the directions of all the crackles changing in different spaces? It has a lot to do with the thickness of the paint that I had. I wasn't very consistent in that, and the direction of the brush strokes. I did this on some plant stakes that I made. I've been having so much fun with my laser machine, guys. And you could see where the paint goes. So I personally like the multi-directions, and I like the dark color underneath, but you can definitely do the aesthetic that matches for you. Once I get all the crackle spots, I am going to start working on the letters because I want to make sure the glue and the paint is completely dry. I'm going to paint these black. I definitely like the black and white look. It's always been my go-to with hints of blue, or if it's the right season, I'll go for pink. So I'm just going to cover these all in black, set them aside, and I'll probably attach these with my nail gun. But again, for that O, I'm working on some different things. I'm going to use a black heart, and because Cinco de Mayo is coming up, I'm going to make a taco because I think that'll be cute. I did both of these with my We Create laser machine. Honestly, I'm having so much fun with that. There's little speckles that were supposed to go on the outside, and those were so much fun. I'm being facetious, to paint and then attach to the outside. But I'm learning which files to use and which ones to not use. So those are going to be attached later with a different technique so that I can easily swap them out. This is always a rewarding part in my opinion, and that's removing the tape so that you have a nice clean line where you painted. Now that that's done, I can go ahead and start arranging where I want my letters to go. I am on the fence with where to place these because I want them to line up well with the crackles. And I'm also on the fence with how dark the crackle is against the white paint. So I might do a whitewash technique over this one more time just to soften that weathered paint look. This is a little too harsh for me. To attach the welcome sign, I didn't want it directly on the board. I wanted a little more dimension to that. So I'm using those little foam stickers that you get from the Dollar Tree, the Crafter Square, and I'm placing those all around, and this will stick sufficiently, but give it a little bit of space between the board and the welcome sign. For right now, I'm going to set that aside though, because I want to measure out the spacing for my H, M, and E first. The spacing will be different based on whatever size canvas or board you use. And by the way, I didn't notice the E was upside down until I took it out into the living room. So ignore the upside down E for now. For some reason, it looked totally right to me, probably because I was working on it upside down. But once I get the spacing the way I like it, I'm going to go ahead and get my nail gun, my brad nailer. That's been a great addition to my craft room. I use it for crafting more than anything else. It's so quick. I love it. So if you've ever considered one, check out the Ryobi. It is in my Amazon store. You can get them between $50 to $80, and honestly, it's been my favorite thing. I'm taking off the backing of those adhesive foam squares, and I'm going to go ahead and place the welcome on the sign. I'm not pressing it down though, because I want to make sure it's lined up and even. And because it was cut with thin wood, it does have some flexibility, so I'm glad I measured first. Now I'm going to get my magnets out. This came out of my miscellaneous box. And when you buy these from the Crafter's Square, the magnets come with a metal disc in it already. I'm going to take advantage of that, and with some E6000 or Crazy Glue Gel and hot glue, I'm going to put this where the O would go. You're not going to see this though, because I use the magnets, and I'm going to put those on the wooden accessories for each season or holiday. That way I can change this out anytime I want to, and I'm going to make a little box on the back. I did fix the E. As you can see, it is now in the correct space, and I don't know if you noticed, but I did whitewash the top layer of paint just so that crackle was a little bit more muted. But here is my finished sign, and I can just swap out the little placards as I want to. I think the next thing I'm going to do is a little wreath for summer. So be open to looking at those 90% off items. If you're trying to get a lot of decor in a space, or maybe you're even wanting to sell items, you cannot get blanks for the price you would get these at 90% off. This was an after Easter thing. Worthy is the lamb. I would never have this up year round, probably around Easter, but it's a brand new item even with the tag on it. So you could easily sell these, and I got this clearance for $1.39. This little truck for St. Patrick's Day was 29 cents at 90% off. So you guys, if you've ever been looking to do crafty items, I think I got about 10 of these. I'm planning on cutting off this little portion here, and that way I can fill up the truck with Christmas baubles, or I can do fall things, or I can go ahead and do a seasonal interchangeable item that will just slip onto here. So the 90% off aisle is really such a great resource. You just have to catch it at the right time. And if you're looking to make gifts for someone, what an affordable way to give gifts to people that are brand new, still personalized and customized by you. And if you're looking for decor, sky's the limit. So keep an eye for those 90% off aisles. I am still actively working on the backyard. I am realizing that I am not the spring chicken I used to be. We used a rototiller a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not exaggerating. It kicked my butt. I was wiped out for like 2 days after that. So my initial goal when I did my video planning was to have that video at the end of this month. Let's aim for the end of June, because I've got a long ways to go, but I am doing the thing that I always tell you guys to do, which is set a timer and just do a little at a time. Some days when I go out there, I know I'm only going to get a half hour. Other days, like yesterday, I set the timer for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And let me tell you, by the end, I was like, I can't go any longer. I've got to stop. And my timer went off. So I follow my own advice. I'm getting to it one little bit at a time, but I'm really excited to bring you all of the things that I'm doing in this backyard, and it'll be one of the first big tours that I've done in the new house with my husband. So hopefully you're interested in that. If you are, hit that subscribe button, and that'll be out, I'm guessing June. I've got a lot of things coming up with my daughter graduating high school. I'm doing a project for a client that's out in Northern California. So I'll be gone for about a week during that time. So I'm going to be a little bit busy, but if you want the backyard, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate so much when you guys are open to me doing these strange ideas or playing with things. So hopefully this was something you would like. And if you guys are interested in me selling those letters, let me know. It's very affordable for me to make them. I think unfortunately the most expensive thing would be shipping them. So let me know in the comments if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to my patrons who allow me to make these videos, and I will see you guys in just a few days. Bye.